Don't fall, that's when you know you're gonna go dry. When the rain don't fall, that's when you know you're gonna go dry. And it won't do no good to be crying out loud, babe, or cursing the sky. When the field turns brown, you know famine coming all across.
Yay, community dinner! Good to see you, Aaron.
How was your dinner there?
Good. I'm glad I don't have to cook today.
You don't have to cook it. Because we're eating it, right?
Community dinner. How was yours?
It was good. It's actually that cold outside, so that's a good thing.
Look, I've got mittens on. Really warm mittens in the freezer.
What do you have there?
You've been to these places?
I have. For the Puerto Rican fundraiser? Oh, yeah, they were fundraising money for Maria.
I know. $5,000.
Wow.
In 5. Hi.
Hey there.
How are you guys?
$5. Where'd he go?
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye, camera.
Yeah, wooden houses and we mentioned like a rolling wall. I didn't even get to see what's in the menu. Did you know
Do you want to tell us why you're here?
To eat.
Why even here?
Why not? It's
Join in a
$5.
community event. Yeah, it's good food. You come along.
My family comes. My brother teaches in London, so
Oh,
we
great.
science
At the high
school.
Oh, great. I'm on the board of ed.
Oh, yeah, you look
okay.
familiar.
Yeah.
Cassidy Brown, nice to
Hi,
meet you.
Cassidy. Stephen Brown is his name, who teaches. Sharon.
Sharon.
Yeah.
And?
Natalie. Hi, Natalie.
Say hi.
Is Natalie a year and a half?
She is. Yeah. 15 months yesterday.
Does she like to eat community meals?
She does. Yeah, especially tonight, Kelly.
Yeah. Yay.
Anyway,
That's awesome.
Do you do more?
she does do more.
Yeah. Hopefully more men are coming tonight.
Yeah. Can you show them more?
Okay.
Yeah.
Say hi to
He
Bob.
doesn't want to be on the video. Yeah. Hi, Bob. How are you?
Hi, Bob.
Yeah.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Lisa.
Do you guys come?
Oh, every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you here today?
Because I'm hungry. I just want to see people.
I didn't know if tonight's menu was appealing to you.
It is the menu. Yeah, the menu, but it always is appealing. Yeah. It's always, it always sounds delicious. So if I get out of work in time, then this is on the schedule for sure.
I think today is rare because aren't they normally meat based?
Yeah. Which I like as well.
That it's normally
Yeah, I like having protein, for sure. But I also like when there's a good portion of vegetables.
I know, Claire. What's your favorite part about coming to the community dinner?
I like being able to eat and see people that I don't always get to see.
The community aspect of
Yeah,
it?
that's true. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
like I like the multitasking aspect.
That's right. You know, there are times where the menu, I don't like to eat too much pork, and it's just on pork days where I don't want to actually eat.
Yeah.
But I come to
Yeah. And I get to see all the kids too. They're really happy.
Yeah.
And the babies.
Get it. Get the car. Can you go get it?
Try to drive it right to you. Try to drive it right to you. So you're on Pink and Green right now.
Hey, Mr. Ron. Good, how are you? The week before we left, I was going to be back with them for like 2 hours. How you doing?
So I love
What is that called?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Yeah,
So what is that called?
It's not food styling. Would you want to
Call
play?
it the way like that you up there what? I don't know what the language is.
What, like the way we plate, I guess? It would be like
Plating I would have thought was right on the plate, but like not only that, but like the way
manicured plates and, are you talking about service or are you just talking about like the style of the food?
well, the style, but also like
How
the
you place
gesturing.
it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes down to service, I guess, would probably be the best way. I don't know that there's a great catchy name for it, but you are very welcome.
Oh, you probably should have gotten Bob's right now. I think
She said not to grab utensils. I don't know why. We'll see.
So I always, no, that's okay, come here. I bring my utensils because that's the only piece here. So each of the kids, dele uno Mateo, por favor. Vaya, dele uno Mateo. Uno para usted.
got plastic ones.
You're telling on your brother on camera? There you go. So Eric, that means that you definitely have.
Thank you.
So, and there's an extra cup too.
So what's the reason for you to bring the utensils, Myrna?
Environmental. Because they have plastic utensils here,
And you don't like to use plastic?
I like to eat with I mean, I like the feel of metal utensils, and then also just environmental.
Where do you wash them, at home?
Yeah, I just put it all back in the dirty utensils in the cup when I'm done, and this is my little basket that I keep under a cabinet, and it's just ready to go. On Wednesdays for community dinner, I grab my basket and we go.
I appreciate you so much. You're always taking sustainability to the next level.
I usually grab, like, it's in the same place, so the kids always know. I can be downstairs and be like, Olive, Mateo, grab the basket, grab the utensil basket. I'm actually gonna go get a drink.
You go ahead.
Look, it's looks like watermelon.
You know when they first Brigaid first came to our school, this was the most popular drink because kids didn't have enough water. In the schools? Yeah, in the high school. You want a high
You should
school?
try that. It's good. I'm gonna put it.
What is that?
It's like a watermelon drink. This is a part of it, isn't
Just
it?
become part of the community, to see people that you don't see in a while, to support the school system and the brigade and the whole community. That's why I come. Plus, it's a great meal, right? And the dessert. Cheers.
Thank you. No, that's That's definitely a great point. There are days, I think I mentioned this in mine, there are days where a couple of times like I don't like to cook very much, and I've come anyway because the kids play with their friends. I walk around and talk to people, and I just enjoy it. It's a Wednesday touch point where I think I end up bumping into a lot of different circles that I don't normally bump into. It's not necessarily, the education circle or the friends and circle of mamas or things like that. It's just community people that I recognize, and I like having that opportunity.
It's a good atmosphere, a good energy, and you see the diversity of our town reflected in the community there. So I hear you. And Martina said the same thing, the multitasking, like you can be eating, you can be talking to people, you can see the kids around. Do you like
because you can find friends here and the food is healthy.
Oh.
And it's for a good price and it's a good service.
What do you mean it's a good price? Who makes you pay?
It's $5.
Yeah, but does somebody make you pay? I don't even know.
Because I hear you telling everybody all the time.
Why do you come?
Why do I come?
Why do you like them? Do you like them?
Well, pretty much Mateo said it all. Friends, great healthy food, tastes good.
Do you get dragged here? Like, does your mom make you come, or did she ask you?
She asked.
So you said yes.
Yeah.
Because of friends.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Go play, I guess. We don't want to take you away from the playing.
Charge! Olinda!
Great. Quiero presentarle a Eric.
Hola, ¿cómo se llama?
Hola, Emi.
Emi?
Sí, mucho gusto.
Y
Martín.
So Emmy, Martín, socks are coming off. Emmy, why do you come to the community dinner?
Because it's en español o en inglés.
You can bilingual. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it's in English.
Creo que es una oportunidad para conocer a más gente.
I think it's an opportunity to get to know more people.
Y es bueno porque la comida es muy saludable.
And it's really good because the food is really healthy.
And it's kids friendly.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and we love it. Yeah.
How long have you been coming to the community dinners?
It's been about, I want to say 4 months now.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a long time now. Yeah. And I don't have to cook, don't have to do dishes. With 2 little boys, it's hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Gracias.
Okay. Nos vemos, mi amor.
Gracias, un placer.
Gracias. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
A little bit here, but actually, Eric, why don't you sit there?
Hi there.
I'm Eric.
Hi Eric, how are you?
Good, and yourself?
Good, thank you.
Okay, Grandma's saying we need to wipe your mouth. Okay. Yeah, Grandma cares that she does not have a dirty mouth on camera.
I didn't even look at her, I was looking at her.
There you go, enjoying your food again.
You are one of the regulars here, right?
Yes, yeah, we come every week.
religiously.
Yeah.
Why?
Just because the food is so wonderful. Yeah, we're big foodie people in our family, so yeah, it's wonderful every week, and it saves me cooking. And then I know some people from playgroup that come down. We meet our surrogate grandma Eileen over here, and yeah, it's nice community feel to it, and we've never had a bad meal yet, so that's why we keep coming back every week.
What's your favorite part about coming?
I think it's just the whole community gathering, everyone sitting, chatting. There was people there at the table beside me. I'd never met them before, so I was chatting to them and just get to see new faces everywhere, which is quite nice.
Community spirit. You can
yes.
feel that. You live here in London?
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
yes.
you see the diversity of our town. You
Yes,
see the good energy that we have around here.
Yeah.
You can feel it in the space. And I think it's a great space to come together and, share one of the common things like food as a community. And I think that makes us stronger as a community. Too.
And it's been great as well too for the little ones just to try different foods as well too. So
and play and meet each other too, because
Yes.
you see a lot of them like, back in the days it would be like in the street we would play basketball or something. Like now you see them around here playing tennis.
I actually live for this every week, so it's just
Fair
been
enough.
wonderful. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hi. I love seeing these buddies here. Do you normally eat together at community dinner?
Yeah.
You come together or you meet here?
Usually we come together.
Together? You like it here? Why?
The food's really good, and I think it shows a lot of our community here, and I love how diverse it is.
Aww. I like your shirt.
Thank you. I dressed up for the occasion.
She dressed up for the occasion. And I remember seeing your cool hat here last time. Does mine look inspired by yours? A little bit? You know, like the nice big weaving, right? Yeah. How's the dinner?
It's good.
You didn't get to dessert yet, right? This bread, did you guys hear? This is made here. The bread is fantastic.
I like the herbs in it.
Oh, I didn't have it yet. I didn't taste it yet. I'm excited.
It's really good.
Yeah? All right, so I guess we'll let you finish eating. Hi, Desmond. Did you say hi? Hi, Mabel.
Hi.
Mabel, do you want to say anything about community dinner?
I like it
Yeah? Why?
because the food's good.
Yeah? And you get to see your buddies? Yeah. Good. I guess you ate really quick, didn't you? Did you eat all your food?
No.
No, why? What happened to it?
Mama made the salad.
And did you eat all your manicotti?
Some of it.
Oh, what happened to it? Who's that? Did he eat it?
I think Mom ate it.
Mommy. And how about you?
Actually, she didn't.
She didn't. And how about you? What happened to your food?
Nothing happened to
Where did it go?
I don't know.
You lost your dinner?
No, Mom. No,
Okay. Well, thank you guys. Hey,
Hello.
how are you guys?
Lovely. Look at the camera. All right, we got some performers already.
Yeah.
Performers?
Yeah, here we go.
What are we going to make? Some. We don't have like real glasses where we can make like music with our.
We can figure it out.
What are you gonna do
Be
for
able
us?
to do.
What are you gonna do for us, Autumn? What's that?
Not water.
What is it?
Watermelon juice.
Watermelon juice, but it's not pink.
We water it down.
So tell us about your Wednesdays here.
Our Wednesdays, we come here, get a nice meal, and
Hey, try some.
take some time to just sit down and actually kind of catch up with people that on a normal day we just pass by and just
Yeah.
never get to talk to. So it's nice to just be here and catch up with all the community and see everyone out here. That's about it. What do you like coming here and eating all your food?
Okay.
It's a special thing to get
Being
to
back
on the
here?
other side.
Yeah, it is. It is special.
So we just had our great meal and talked to a bunch of people about why they love coming here. They love the community aspect and the great food, and we were wondering a little bit more about the workings of it all, like how long it's been going on for, what have you learned,
Okay.
why you're still doing it.
So it's been going on since about November of last year was the first one. The first one I think we did was a Thanksgiving meal. And I think the reason that we did it is because when we came in here, I think we came in with a lot of misperceptions about why we were here, what we were doing, whether the work that we were going to do was going to be relevant. And I think that was felt by the taxpayer in New London. And so this was a way that not only could we serve the kids, but maybe we could serve the community as well. We want to bring people together. We think food is a great sort of vehicle to do that.
What do you mean by the work that you're doing? What is that?
So the work that we're doing is just we're generally in the schools every single day. There's a full-service chef in every school in this district, aside from Harbor, which just doesn't have a kitchen capable of handling a full staff. But we still do the food for Harbor as well. So we have a full-time chef in every school in the district, and we're doing scratch meals for every kid, breakfast, lunch, and supper. Roughly a little over 5,000 meals a day, every day, with the chef overseeing every one of those meals.
And so I knew that they were meals from scratch, but I had no idea to the level of making your own bread.
Right, and we do that. All of the baked goods that we make are from scratch. I've worked in a number of restaurants, a number of different places, and typically in those places you're you're cutting a lot more corners than we cut. If we have to cut a corner, we just won't do that thing.
Wow.
So like all the dressings, all the stocks, all of the marinades, all of the dried spices, everything that comes in, you can easily identify it. So when kids ask for chicken patties, the reason we don't serve them is because we don't know what that is, and neither do they. If they're going to get a piece of meat, it's going to be from a part of the animal that's very easily recognizable. So it's either a breast or a thigh or a drumstick, something like that.
So why is that important to?
So that people have a connection to the thing that they're eating, so that they know that it came from somewhere, and that this world that we live in isn't some sterile environment where there aren't consequences and there aren't cause and effect. Like your food came from somewhere, and you should have a connection to that. So when we get carrots from Huntsbrook Farm, or when we get lettuces from that, that's something that we're proud of, that we want people to know about. And when we prepare things, right or wrong, whether they're not, like we did them. So if there's something wrong with them, we can change it. We're not at the mercy of vendors or purveyors or like massive food industry. Like we can change anything. We're a dynamic.
And you also talk to the students, right? You look for input for the student, like what do they like, what do they don't, you change themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of noise in that input. So we're measuring qualitative data against quantitative data. So you go to a table and there's 8 people, and 4 of them are on the fence, and 2 really loved it and 2 didn't like it. You can't always take that. Some of the things that we know that we menu all the time, like they love, and we know that. There are other things that they're on the fence about, and then we measure that against all of the quantitative data that we track. So we track every meal, we track every meal that's served when it's going up against another type of meal, because our format, we offer multiple entrees a day, and that's to A, serve the students to give them what they want, but B, it's to limit food waste, because as we're going along, we're trying desperately to limit as much food waste as we can, both from an environmental standpoint, but also a cost perspective, because we're wasting food, we're wasting time.
Do you compost?
Yes, all of our food waste goes to pigs in Waterford, to a pig farm. So they don't compost it, but it becomes pig feed.
So now that it's been over a year of presenting it to the community, why are we still doing it?
Because we enjoy it. We've got a lot of positive feedback, and I think if we were to go away,
I mean, I love it.
Right,
I'm not saying
exactly.
it from that perspective. I'm just
Well, I mean, I think that's important. Like, we're providing a service, and people like that, and that feels good for us when you leave here and we sold out and we had a good night. You have a lot of positive interactions with people in the community. Like, we have those interactions with kids, but sometimes that sort of gets lost in the ether of like decision making and things like that, and the way that the community perceives you. Like, we're here and we want to provide service anywhere we can. So whether that's doing a Thanksgiving dinner at the Salvation Army, or whether it means bringing food to the soup kitchen every night, or to the food pantries when we're done here, or if it just means having a community meal and inviting the public in, like, we're proud of the work that we do. And then here also, we're not strapped by nutritional guidelines the same way we are at lunch, so we can show off a bit, we can do a bit more here, sort of sharpen our skills and sort of compete amongst one another, because even though we're like a team, this group here, day to day we don't work together. So this is really our only time to like network.
Close to them all over there.
What's that?
We get close to them over there so they can see like.
It's a group of chefs, right? And we all came from different places. So I'm actually the only one that's from this county.
Away.
Well, no, that group is going away, but so Wes is recipe testing right now. So he's trying to develop. Every Wednesday we also have one chef who tests a new recipe that they work on, and he'll come to the table with costing information, with the procedure, with the nutritional information, and then after we get done cleaning up, we'll all taste it together and sort of make a decision of whether it's menu worthy or whether it's worth, whether some adjustments need to be made, things like that. But then in general, like all of these chefs that are here, they came from all over. Like, I'm from Montville, but everybody else that's from here, Wes is from just outside of Boston, Tyler's from Maine, Angeline came from New York City, April came from Narragansett, but before that, Arizona. We had a chef from Seattle. Stephanie, who's over there, she just came from Monterey, California. So we have people coming from all over.
What would you say is the biggest difference between cooking in a school cafeteria and a restaurant kitchen?
Okay, so the biggest thing, I guess, it's time management, because there's still like a push in a restaurant, but you can sort of catch up. And like in a school, if you're not ready, you can't catch up at all. and then just in general, like the staffs that we're working with, like our staff is dedicated. They're dedicated to the kids. They're a great staff to work with, but coming in, it was a culture shock for them, and there was like they didn't have a lot of skills based on the model that they were executing before. So teaching them knife work, teaching them how to handle raw proteins, teaching them like how to temp raw proteins, and how to just everything that we do. It required like a little bit more explanation, and then a lot of them are mothers, grandmothers who got into school food so that they would have more time with their children, summers off with their kids. And we're in here sort of putting a huge emphasis on food, and so the way that that's come together, I guess, is the biggest difference, rather than being in a kitchen with a bunch of 25-year-olds who are like just, it's like a pirate ship a little bit, where a kitchen in a school is a little bit more of a safer place, and it has to be toned down a little bit because of the population that's around you and because of the makeup of your staff.
I heard that you guys all have different specialties, like the different chefs have.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Like what?
So I would say Wes's specialty is like he's known for his sourdough. He's had that. He has a starter, so the bread is naturally leavened, and he's had that sourdough alive for basically like 4 years. So he's sort of known for that. I would say that I'm known for quick breads, like biscuits. Probably is the thing that got me hired when I auditioned for my tryout with Dan. I made a biscuit with like skim milk and like little butter pads that were in the walk-in here during the summer, and it was like a good biscuit still with limited sort of ingredients. And because of that, like my biscuits are on the menu. Tyler's pretty creative when it comes to like all sorts of the food that he does. He's young, he's only 24, but he's already worked all over the place. Like he worked in Copenhagen for a summer at like an old restaurant that was doing tail to snout cooking. Angeline is very organized. She's very creative. She was a sous chef at Ivan Ramen in New York City, and they did a chef's table at him, so she's come here. But the salad that she did tonight was delicious, and it sort of comes from. She also does like a lot of like she likes to ferment food. She's always got little projects going here, so she's very curious. April is known for her desserts. Basically, every dessert that we ever make is here, and her and I started from the beginning. It was her and I here. We actually, our interview was the same day, so we were actually paired with each other. There was like a group of, they invited like 13 people here to try out. We were the last two, and we were paired together, and then we ended up being the only two hired. So we've been sort of doing this from the beginning. And then Paul, who's the tall guy, and Stephanie, we don't really know what their specialties are. They just started, like Paul started 2 days ago, and Stephanie started 5 days ago. So I'm sure they have specialties. But the cool thing about Stephanie is that she's the only one who's been doing this work from before Dan and Brigaid was an idea. She had been working in school food for years. She's classically trained. She went to Johnson & Wales. She worked on a Native American reservation, trying to introduce indigenous foods into the students' diets, like at the school, through the school lunch program. And then she worked in Monterey as like a culinary director, overseeing like 21 schools there. So she can sort of put her money where her mouth is that she has been interested in sort of solving the school food dilemma for a while now, before Dan came around. And Paul was the like head sort of forager and like a culinary director of, he would teach a lot of culinary classes and things like that at the Ocean House in Westerly. So he's done that for a while. So everybody sort of comes from a different background and brings a little bit of knowledge from different places.
Can we peek into his pot?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Want to peek into your pot there, Wes?
Sure.
What are you up to, Wes?
So this is a pasta in the style of carbonara, sort of, in a way that we would do it. It's a little difficult involving eggs, raw eggs for the traditional preparation, but I have been working on a way to sidestep that and be able to serve carbonara in a safe way to the kids.
Thank you.
So our big dilemma is pasta now, because we offer pasta as like that's a weekly option that stays the same for the whole week, because we eliminated peanut butter and jelly from the menu going into this year because of allergy concerns. There's actually a student, not of peanut butter, but there was a student in New York who died of being exposed to like milk, went into like anaphylactic shock there. So being that there are so many kids in there are kids just like eating. There's kids everywhere. Like at the high school of 300 kids come through in 9 minutes. So to be able to pick out who's doing what, who's allergic to what, we try our best to limit allergies as best that we can. So like just peanut butter in general being an airborne allergen, we took it out of schools. So we decided to still have that safety net for those 100 kids or 75 kids that are eating peanut butter and jelly every day, to just have simple pastas served every day so that they would be able to eat. I know kids last year at the high school, probably like 60 of them would eat peanut butter and jelly every single day, and that was all they ate from their time. So they were a bit they were upset about it being taken off. So we replaced that with safe pastas that everybody sort of likes and that we always had great participation with. But so we don't fatigue kids from ravioli and penne bolognese and things like that. We're trying desperately to sort of develop more and more things in our repertoire so that there's something new for the other kids who don't want to see that same thing every day. But that there's something safe for other people so that everybody eats. It's like a balancing act.
Who's the chef at the middle school here?
Angeline.
Angeline?
Yes.
Can I ask her a question? So my daughter goes here, and she loves, I mean, it's probably the same with like all the schools, but she loves the hummus, and you guys got rid of it. Yeah, because I guess not too many kids do love it. But we want the recipe.
Okay.
If that's okay, because she just like, she was like, it's hummus day, you know, and
What's
then
your Olive?
Olive. People say she looks like me. She does her braces. She's got long hair.
What pathway?
Arts. She's out there. I'll send her over.
Yeah,
I'll send her over. Okay. But if we can get the recipe, I mean, she really enjoys the food here. That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
And she does eat breakfast at home, but she loves having lunch here. So thank you.
Now that we know that, we can definitely make something happen. I know exactly which lunch rate comes in.
No, just we have the recipe. You know, she's happy to learn to make something at home.
Yeah, the people ask for the things, and we are not guarding them as secrets. Like, we're happy to. There is no secret sauce. There is no secret anything. It's just everything is like pretty simple as we can make it, because we're making them in huge batches. But just try to be thoughtful about the process.
It thrills me that you want to know.
Yeah.
And the naan was made here too, right?
Yes.
The naan, yeah. It sounded like an amazing meal. But
We were proud to serve it, but again, it's that balancing act between like putting a lot of effort into something that has a relatively small impact versus those kids who are already sort of believers. It's like, how do we get that other group that's like that 15% fringe to like really buy in, do something that we're proud of, that we think is creative, introduce them to something new, but still feed them. And it's like
I'll send her over. Miss Angeline? Is that what you're send her over?
They can call me.
They call you Angeline? Okay. Sitting there. Actually, it's like